Okay, we've got different terms here that I want you to know at the beginning of the unit. Some of them you probably know them from before, some of them you probably don't. We've got this picture representing there the male gonad. So what's the male gonad? Is the testicle or testis. Testicle is a gonad because gonads are those organs that produce gametes. So what is a gamete? A gamete is a sex cell. What is a sex cell then? Okay, we're going to start from the bottom. A sex cell or a gamete is one cell that is going to be used in sexual reproduction, joining to another sex cell and then forming a new organism. So male sex cells, male gametes in humans are sperm cells, while female gametes are ovules or eggs. Those are the gametes, and they are produced in organs. Remember, gamete is a cell, in organs that are either the testicle for the male gamete or the ovary for the female gamete. So we got gamete, sperm cell, and ovule, gonads, testicles, and ovaries. And that's the way they developed. And this diagram is quite an important one. It's representing gametogenesis, both spermatogenesis and oogenesis. So it's representing the genesis, the formation of the gametes. Where does this formation happen? In the gonads. What type of cells do gonads have? They are cells with the same DNA as any other part of your body. So those cells in your stomach, those cells in your heart, those cells in your skin will have exactly the same DNA as the cells in your testicles or in your ovaries. Cells with 46 chromosomes. But if one of those cells in the testicles, 46 chromosomes, joins with one cell in your ovary, 46 chromosomes, if they fused, they would form an organism with more than 90 chromosomes. So that would not be a human. Then we need to do a very special process, that is meiosis. What is meiosis? It's the division of this cell in the testicle that is going to split apart the nucleus in two. So instead of 46 chromosomes, this nucleus will have 23. Every sperm cell has 23 chromosomes. And the ovary is going to do exactly the same to form this ovule that also has 23 chromosomes. That is meiosis. And it's very important because after that, 23 plus 23 will form a human being with 46 chromosomes. What is the name of this process by which they fuse? That is fertilization. So in fertilization, an egg with 23 chromosomes, ovule, fuses with a sperm cell with 23 chromosomes. And it's going to produce a zygote, that's the name of the first cell that is formed in fertilization, that has 46 chromosomes. It says here 23 pairs because in each pair one chromosome comes from the mom, one chromosome comes from the dad. We've got the same picture represented there, sperm cells and ovules that fuse. So this would be the previous stage to the zygote. This is the two nuclei, the nucleus from the sperm cell, the nucleus from the ovule, just about to fuse. When they fuse, the division of this zygote starts. So this single cell zygote, 43 chromosomes, will give two cells with two nuclei, each one with 46 chromosomes, each one with the same information, to that will divide and form 4 with 4 nucleus, 46 chromosomes each. 4 that will give me 8, then 16, then 32, and we've got this stage. That is still an embryo. This embryo contains exactly the same genetic material in each cell as it had the zygote after all the divisions. This embryo in humans will travel in the fallopian tubules because we are still in the fallopian tubules there, and will arrive to the uterus. Once in the uterus, it will transform into a fetus 2 or 3 months later. And this fetus is known like that because it already has all the organs, the heart, the liver, the stomach, the eyes. All of them are there, present there, but they are not well developed yet. So that is a fetus. But the genetic information is exactly the same in the 3 stages. Okay, so we've got gonads, remember, producing gametes that in the fertilization form the zygote that transforms into embryo, then fetus, and then the future baby. Those are very important names that we are learning in this unit, page 110 in this case. And you also have in this page something about the reproductive life. We call reproductive life to this period of time in which you're able to produce a baby with another person that is in its reproductive life. So this sexual life starts during puberty, is when you start being fertile. When does puberty starts? Well, in boys, it starts when they are able to ejaculate. So when they start producing semen that is going to go out of the penis. In girls, it starts when they have their first period. We call this menarche. Both of them, the first ejaculation and the menarche, will both start when the levels of hormones produced in the pituitary gland reach a specific amount, a specific level. Which are those hormones? The follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. They are going to make the gonads produce the gametes. And then those sex hormones are going to produce different changes in your body, anatomical changes and physiological and psychological changes. Well, puberty lasts between 3 and 4 years, starting usually earlier in girls from 10 to 13, and a little bit later in boys from 12 to 14 years old. So, which are these changes? Well, you're going to see that physical changes are not exactly the same in girls and boys, but they are very similar. Things that they have in common: the genitals in both get bigger. Hair that is growing in pubis and in the armpit, under the arms. Body hair is both of them the same. A little increase in the larynx in girls, but it's going to be an important increase in the larynx of boys. That's why their voice changes. We've got common things, these annoying sebaceous glands all around your face, some of you in the back, that are going to secrete more sebum. You've got it in boys and girls. And we've got a difference here. While in girls, usually the amount of body fat increases, changing the shape of the body, in boys it's more common that the muscle mass increases. With all this due to those hormones. Things that they have special. Well, of course, in girls we're going to have these breasts that develop and this menarche, the first period. While in boys we've got the shoulders widen up, the pelvis getting narrower, and those muscle mass that is increasing. What about psychological changes? Well, you're probably very familiar with most of those. You've got this necessity, this need of freedom, independence. You don't want you to be with your parents all day long. I'm sure that you're feeling this a lot these days, all day at home with your mom and dad. And what you really want to stay, where you really want to stay with your friends. You really feel that they do understand you, that group of people of your own age that speak the same language as you do. It's not like those adults that they do not understand you. You feel more self-sufficient, and you're probably more interested in your own sexuality. Um, when we think of their physical appearance, and if you like your physical appearance, well, we usually have two types of teenagers, or sometimes both types in the same person. Sometimes you like yourself a lot, you become a little bit narcissistic, staring at the mirror all day long, and sometimes you're very critical with yourself. You don't like your nose, you don't like your chin, you don't like these legs that I have, or whatever. You're always complaining about your body. So sometimes you love yourself, sometimes you hate yourself. That's very common. And what about the behavior? Well, you've probably noticed that as well. That one day you're laughing, no one knows why, and just a few minutes later you're crying. No one knows why either. Those changes in the behavior, they are all of them due to those hormones that are increasing and then decreasing their level very quickly in your body because they are balancing. Okay, so whenever this happens to you, you got to think that you're much more than just hormones, tiny chemical substances going along your blood, your bloodstream. You're stronger than that, so you should control it. Well, we've got summarized there what we call the secondary sexual characteristic. All of them we've mentioned have been mentioned already. Bones, muscles, the size of the genitals, the fats, the breast. Okay. Well, now what you've got to do is you've got a questionnaire, and you just have to fill it. It's not going to take a long time. I hope you've enjoyed this video.